Thank you for joining the NACTA webinar series. Today we're featuring Avanti Destinations with our special guest, Jeffrey Bershaw, who is the Director of Marketing. My name is Lorene Romero, and I am your moderator for today. A little bit of house rules before we get this party going. I want to remind everybody that you are on mute, and that so we don't have any distracting sounds while Jeffrey is doing his presentation. This will be recorded, so if you would like to review it, please go to our NACTA channel for YouTube. I will post it there in the next day or two. Want to give you also the idea where the chat box is. You're going to see a panel on the right-hand side. If you click down there for questions, we are going to have a Q&A session at the very end, and Jeffrey will be happy to answer any of your questions. So I am going to put myself on mute. I am going to turn the reins over to Jeffrey Bershaw, Director of Marketing for Avanti Destinations. Jeffrey, please, what do you have? Thank you so much for being here.
Thank you, Lorraine. It's always great to be on a webinar with you. So what we're going to cover today is, basically not really an introduction, if you will, but looking at our website and more so our booking engine, and give you guys a few tips for those of you who are not familiar with it or want a little bit more insight. There is also a Q&A at the end. So if you have any questions, please ask them, and I'll get to them, or we will get to them at the end. But just a quick introduction for those of you who aren't familiar with Avanti. I'm just going to scroll down our website and show you the 5 reasons to pick Avanti. We are an independent tour operator, so we are an FIT tour operator, so we specialize in independent travel to Europe, Central and South America, and Asia now. We brought on Asia back in the latter part of November. It's been doing really well for us. We focus on our hand-picked accommodations, and that does not necessarily mean that we don't sell resorts or all-inclusives, but what we're really focused on is boutique hotels, unique accommodations such as castles, villas, bed and breakfasts, manor houses. We do have some apartments in certain major cities. There's also haciendas in Central and South America. We have jungle lodges. In Asia, we have, there's definitely certainly more challenges with finding boutique hotels, but in every destination possible, we have at least 1 or 2 boutique hotels. And when I say boutique, they're typically 100 or less rooms, and they're often privately owned. And so you get a more personalized experience. One of the things that, as far as our hand-picked accommodations, and it's very important because this really goes with all of our services. So whether it be unique travel options or transfers, these are all things that are tried and true and tested. We do have a 3 strikes you're out policy, so if we have more than 3 legitimate complaints, we'll pull the product and find someone who can provide the level of service that we require. So handpicked really means that we're getting into each destination and making sure that the accommodations and the services that we're providing are top-notch and meet our standards. And I did talk a little bit about the unique travel options, but we do a lot of off-the-beaten path. We're focused on food and wine, cultural and historic. We do a lot of private drivers and guides, and I'm not going to get into great detail on that, but it along with everything else, it's personally selected by our product team. We do have our travel consultants that are on the phone 6:30 to 5:30 Monday through Friday. And those are the folks that are experienced and skilled. They've gone out and visited the destinations. They know firsthand, what your clients will be experiencing, and they're really good at making sure that your itinerary that's developed with Avanti is seamless. So, helping you to avoid pitfalls, like Bologna. You don't want to have a train schedule in there where your clients only have 3-4 minutes to get from one platform to another. That's just not going to work. So these things like that are all things that they bring to the table to you when you're having a conversation with them. But we're going to be more focused on the website, of course, today. So I'm going to show you some tricks as well as the basics with regard to website. But something you should always know is that while your clients are traveling, we've got folks on the ground who can make sure that they're well taken care of, and if anything arises, they have someone to call to resolve any issues, or they missed their flight or their flight's delayed. All these different things we're able to take care of while your clients are in travel. So our website, this is a wonderful picture of Barcelona from Park Güell. So we're in the Europe theme. We have 3 different distinct sections of our website. And as you can see here, Central and South America comes up, and that puts you into the Central and South America product area of our website. And then if you click on Asia, the same thing happens. As you can see, the colors are changing, the banner changes, so you really know where you're at. I'm going to get into a little bit more detail with that a little bit later on. But I'm going to mostly focus on Europe. It's certainly the largest amount of product that we provide is in Europe. It's the most popular destination for international travel. So I'm just going to get into that quickly here. We have our top navigation, and this is just things that you can look at on your own. But the product guide really is, you don't have to go into pricing. You can just really look at what we're able to offer. So say, for instance, I go into where's France? There we go. I forgot how to spell for half a second. So if I go into France, you can see all the different destinations that we sell in France, a little blurb on France, some of the packages that we're offering, and then all the different cities. The cities are here, and then they're here as well. I use this every day practically because I'm always, people have questions with regard to product, or I have questions. I'm doing a little copywriting or something like that, and I'm like, I'm not really sure about that. So I click on the destination itself, and I thought I did that, but maybe I didn't. It's taking a little bit longer than I thought here. Okay, come on, Paris. Okay, we're waiting. So what this is really doing is going out and looking at all of the product. As you can see here, it says please wait, we're loading. And what this is doing is just pulling back all of the hotels and all that stuff. It's taking a little bit longer than I'd like it to. Maybe something's going on here. I checked it about a half hour ago, and everything was easy fine. So there we go. So here's a list of all the hotels. You can click on each one of these individually if you'd like, and then you get a pop-up here that gives you what is included, the description of the property, what its star rating is, the location, the metro stop, and what's in the services facilities in room. Also shows you where it's at with regard to everything else, as well as some pretty pictures. As you can see here, all of the hotels are in here. So if you wanted to say, for instance, your clients really wanted to be on the left bank, you could zoom in and find something on the left bank. So just a quick introduction to this. With regard to the tours, this is all the options that we're able to provide you in Paris. So it is a big, long list, as you can see. You can click on any one of these, and there's a short description. I'm just going to go into something that's maybe a little bit more robust. We have cooking classes, so forth and so on. So this is just a way to easily access product in various ways. I'm going to cover an itinerary a little bit later on, but as promised, I'm going to click on vacation packages and show you how to create a complete FIT in a matter of minutes. So I go in to click on vacation packages, and then I'm going to go into England, and then I just press go, and this will take me down to England. I can see all of the variations that we offer in England. Just a little bit of awareness here. We have what we call recommended vacations, but we also have what we call regional highlights, and these are shorter extensions, if you will, to the major gateways. As you can see here, we're clicking down. Or moving down. Here's a regional highlight. So whether it be a city stay, or some of the an area outside. These are just options that we can provide you that are extensions from the major gateways. And the major gateway in England, of course, is London, and then Scotland is Edinburgh, and Wales is Cardiff. But the big one that I want to cover, because it's very popular, is London and Paris. And that's connecting it with the Eurostar. We call it Cosmopolitan Adventure, but you can call it anything you want, because essentially it's London and Paris. But what I'm going to show you how to do is, say, for instance, your clients wanted to go London to Paris to Nice. And so I would always come to vacation packages and find the vacation package that has the most in the itinerary that already exists. So if your clients did want to go from London to Paris to Nice, a very popular combination, I would start with London-Paris package, the recommended vacation, and then pick their arrival date. I'm just going to go for the latter part of September. Sometimes the early part of September, we have some availability issues with the design. This is called Design Week. It's that's the style fashion week. Excuse me. And I knew it would come to me in early September in Paris. But so I've got the September 23rd, and I just click create a quote. You can add children, their ages, stuff like that. But I'm just doing it for 2 adults. And what this is doing is it's going into all of these different areas and checking to see what is available when this was built. So we're just looking at all of the accommodations, the Trip Builder Guidebook, the Oyster Card, the hop on, hop off, the rail in between, which is Eurostar, and then going to the Paris hotel, the Trip Builder Guidebook, the Visite Pass. And don't get discouraged when it says unavailable here. Basically, what it's saying is that when this was created, the pricing that it was at, or something about this, there's a discrepancy, so that we need to reprice it. And this is the same thing that you would happen when I show you a little bit later on as far as the saved itinerary, and I'll get into that in a little bit. So the first thing that I do when I'm building out an itinerary for somebody on the website is just delete the things that don't press delete city, because we want London. I delete the individual item so that I can get back to it and make sure that I add something that's going to work. So whenever it says unavailable, I just delete it. Something to think about is that all of these recommended vacations are based on 4-star properties. So if your client is a 3-star traveler or a 5-star traveler, these are going to have to be changed anyway. So generally what I do at this point in time is I've got as you can see, it's a chronology. So you've got your clients arriving on 9/23, and then they're going to Paris on 9/26. I'm not going to get into too much detail with regard to how to manipulate this unless we have time. But first thing I'm going to do is, now I've got my itinerary cleared out, I'm going to add Nice. So I type in Nice. And then go 3 nights, and then I just add city. Excuse me. The reason that I start building out the itinerary before I start plugging in all the different items in London and in Paris and then in Nice is because it goes by a little bit faster. Essentially, every time that you add a city, we're going and checking to make sure that everything is available, much like when we were at the vacation package stage where I clicked create a quote. That same thing is going to happen each time. So the less product that you have in here from the get-go, the faster it's going to go. So now I've got my itinerary here, and I could even add another one if I wanted to. I could get my clients from Nice to, say, Portofino or Santa Margherita in, outside of Genoa, right before Cinque Terre. So these are all things that are easy enough to add. You just keep on adding cities if you like. But I'm going to keep it simple and then I'm going to quickly go into some of the other functionality as far as our website is concerned. So I've got the property. I usually will pick the properties first because I want them all to match. Now, one thing that you can do is you can click on this and say, well, this is an Avanti recommended property. So I can click on it and say, is this the style that my clients like? These pictures here and looking at the accommodations, that'll really tell you if your clients are really interested or are going to be interested in something like so expand the window just a bit. And this will also show you where it's at. I got to zoom out a bit. So we're on the left bank. This is certainly not walking distance to the Eiffel Tower or to Notre Dame, but getting on the metro is pretty easy. It's a popular hotel at a really good price point. So what I'm going to do is I'm just going to look at matching that basic style for my clients. So I've got 3 nights, 2 adults in a room, arriving on the 23rd, and 1 bed. Now, if you had 2 couples traveling together or you needed 2 rooms, you have to book these individually. It's not like you can set it up because at this point, we're not requiring you to enter in any of your traveler or your passengers' information, your client's information. I'm getting a little ahead of myself here. So these are automatically part of our city stays, if you will. So we've got the London Trip Builder Guide, the Visit Oyster card. A lot of feedback that we get. The Oyster card is basically so your clients can get around the tube. It does also offer a couple of other amenities, but the big one is just around London, which is very important. You can click on this. Sorry, I've got this up so that I'll be able to show you something a little bit later on as far as my email is concerned. So you can say no thank you and watch the prices. It changes here. So as you can see, these are options that are natural, are just innately included in the city stay. So if you just want a hotel only, you can click on no thank you. I'm going to keep it on this. And if you're looking for a map, you can click on the map here, and it will bring up London and all of the hotels and where they're located, and you can zoom in and you could actually click on one. The challenge with this is that it's not going to bring you into the hotel. You'll actually have to find the hotel. The Gore is not something that's really going to match Lelitra, so I'm just going to go in and look at a couple of other options. I think that the Radisson Edwardian, this is what was originally in there, is a good option for clients, matching the Lelitra, and it's well located. See here, there's a fair amount of stops of tube stops nearby, but Gloucester Road certainly is the closest one. So if I just click on this standard double, you can see this standard twin. We separate out by category. It's not like you can particularly find one particular hotel, but if you look at that, I'm going to choose that. So I've got the Radisson Edwardian in here. If I have a transfer, my clients are just flying in, they've never been to London before, we're going to choose, let's go the 23rd on arrival, and I'm just going to get them so that there's a meet and greet. So they can do a shared transfer with a meet and greet so that right outside of customs, someone will be there to greet them with their name on it. And just sometimes it'll help people out. You certainly can provide private transfers as well. There's lots of options. So say your clients are interested in doing a bit of sightseeing, but they also maybe want to go to Stonehenge or something like that. And that's going to be in a tour. So you just click on another tour. And I want to show you this quickly because this is the default. It will go, we've got the London City Sightseeing Hop On, Hop Off that's happening on the 24th. So that's the day after their arrival. We could change that to the 23rd if we wanted to. A lot of times people will arrive in the morning and try to stay up most of the day before they go to sleep at night just so they can get in the rhythm of things. At least that's my take on it. But now we're going to try to get them on a full day tour on the 25th out to go see Stonehenge, maybe stop by Bath. So I'm just going to click on the 25th here and click continue because this is going to take them a full day. And I will just go Control F, and that's fine. I think you can also right click. No, you can't. I'm using Chrome, by the way, so you may have different functionality in the web browser that you're using. You see I was looking for Oktoberfest earlier today, but if I just go Stonehenge, and you can start to see what's happening here. And these are bus tours from London out to Stonehenge, and you can see there's a Stonehenge bath tour. It's a long tour, and it's also on a bus, but we can do many things here. And as you see, we're starting to get into the private tours. So you could do Winchester, Windsor, and Stonehenge. This gets to be pretty expensive. So certainly, if you've got 5, 6 people traveling together, that's when it really becomes affordable per person. But just so you know, private services are also available. But where was that Stonehenge bath? Windsor Stonehenge bath. All right, so they're going out to Windsor Castle as well. So I've got this wonderful full day tour, 11 hours, and it's going to be compelling for folks. But just so you know, you can do all of these different things. And then the next thing I'm going to do is I'm going to take care of the transportation. Since I've got London all filled out, I'm going to take care of the transportation, and then I'm going to get them by rail to the next city, the 26th. This by default will choose the arrival date in the next city, whether it be air or rail. So I just click continue, 2 adults, and this is Eurostar, and this is the combined cost. So just be aware of that. I typically will not want to get folks in the morning because they won't be able to check in. So if you get them in the afternoon, they're a little bit better off. Not a bad price point. We certainly could take this if we wanted to. The great thing that we're able to provide in our website with the rail is, other than Eurostar, which you typically can book 6 to 9 months out, but a lot of the Italian trains and Renfe, the Spanish trains, you can't get those tickets until 60 days, 30 days out from travel. But we'll give you a quote, and then we'll follow up with you and to say this is when the tickets are available, and then you just, pay for them, and then it's done, and they're ticketed. So that's a functionality of a new process for us. But you can say, I understand that the selecting item does not guarantee pricing or availability. So what's happening here is we're just basically estimating what the price is going to be, and that way you have a way to give your clients a number of how much it's going to cost for the entire itinerary. And so, same thing here. We could do an arrival transfer. You're going to be more challenged to find the shared transfer, but we can do rail to, so I've got airport departures. I just down here rail station arrival. So rail station would, in this case, it's going to be Gare du Nord. So 2 folks, 160, and then I can do another sightseeing tour. So I'm just going to add a 27th. And I can just go continue. So we're going for the 28th, and you can see there's a ton of things for your clients to do. I think the Versailles by bike would be pretty cool if people want to go out and see Versailles. Is probably one of the more popular options. But we can do a market visit and a cooking class. That's pretty cool. So I'm just going to click on this, and this goes into some detail about what's going to happen here. But the market visits and a cooking class or dinner with a local family, those are some cool things that we've really worked hard to make sure that we're able to provide you in the major cities. So these are all options that I can just add. And I do want to note that if you don't book tours or other options for things for your clients to do while they're there, you're leaving money on the table, because they will book it with the concierge, or they'll go out and find the tour on their own when they show up, a variety of different ways. So it's always good to give them options. And I wouldn't jam pack all of their days, give them some time on their own. We are talking about independent travelers, but in the same token, we do want to give them options with regard to what they can do. So I will typically do the transportation to the next city once I'm done with the city. And this is rail the next city, so we're going from Paris to Nice. So going out, and basically what's happening here is it's going out 30 days from now and seeing what's available, and then we can click. This is probably, either one of these is probably a good option. You get your clients in the rail station at near one, they'll probably be able to check in, no problems. So I'm going to pick that one. And then we're getting them to Nice. By default, it will show up on the day, the 29th. So you can see this is the 29th here. Just a couple of hours, and there we got 4.5 hours. So, yep. So I'm going to click on a property. I'm very familiar with the properties, of course. Hopefully I am, at least. So I'm just going to click on one, add it in real quick. I always like the Ellington. It's a good combination with the properties that we've already chosen. It's well located. Let's open this up just a bit. The Avenue d'Anglais is right here. So it's really well located. This is some of the beach area. So a good solid choice for all of the 4 stars that we're doing. And we've got the property here, and everybody wants to go to Monte Carlo. And we've got a really good option out of Nice. So you're going to Monaco, and that's a half-day tour. This is a shared tour, so larger options. You can certainly do a variety of private options as well. But if say your clients wanted, as of this beautiful historic town on a hilltop, and so your clients would go there first. It's in the Provence, but it's still along the Mediterranean. But great town. I don't know if there's some pictures here. So looks like this is all Monaco. But anyway, so it gives you an idea of what your clients will do, and probably the most popular combination, certainly, of options of tours outside of Nice itself. And there you go. I can add flights if I want to, international flights. And I'm just going to choose, we're in Portland, Oregon, but I'm just going to choose Seattle. I'm kind of curious. I looked at this earlier, and you can do dates and times, but this basically will, since you've got a full chronological itinerary here, it just naturally pulls the date. So it knows that your clients need to leave on the 22nd in order to get to Paris on the 23rd. And then it knows that you've got 3 nights in Nice, so we need to fly out on October 2nd. And you can do where you're flying back from. So this is an open jaw into London, out of Nice, and we have a variety of classes of service, as well as you can select airfare. I always go best routing because that's just who I am. I'm curious what's going to happen here. And what this is going out and doing is it's looking first off is net rate. As you can see here, you can receive up to 10% commission on the base fare for our contracted airfare. The great thing about the contracted airfare is that you can also do stopovers. But this is going from Seattle to London, and then we're going Nice, Amsterdam to Seattle, and this is on Delta with a little bit of KLM in there. So I can select that, and that's why I always go best routing, because that is as good a routing as you're going to get. Flying in and out of Seattle. So there you go. And that's the whole itinerary here. We don't show individual pricing as far as the air, and that's the same is true for rail. So just so you know, if you were to build this completely FIT, you would start to see pricing here. But because this is a package, you're not seeing individual pricing. You can itemize this. I'm going to take out the air just because it becomes problematic when I'm trying to cancel it and I have to take another step, so call me a bit lazy, if you will. But I'm going to show you a couple of other things because I did want to show you what the importance of a current itinerary is. I'm going to do this twice. So we have specials that you can click on, and these are some of the specials. You saw the banner earlier with regard to some 4th night freeze in London, but we have lots of options for you if you want to take advantage of some of our specials. You have the Contact Us page. And this is our sales team here. I'm going to quickly click on this, and I've got to log in. Your clients cannot come on here and make a booking. They can see things, they can do basically what I'm doing right now, but they won't be able to see any of this information as well as some other information, and certainly cannot make a booking on our website. It's a travel agent. We're a travel agent only tour operator. So you've got all this great stuff here as far as our sales team is concerned. And the reason that I'm showing you this is that if you have any additional needs, or you want some personal attention, or you want to invite them to one of your events or something like that, or you need any type of support, these are the folks that are out there in your territories, and they're able to help you. And we've got this. I'm just going to show you the view territory map because this is our entire sales team. So this shows you which states they cover and what they're able, and contact information and so forth and so on. So I'm just going to quickly go through. This is Pascal. She's in the Northwest region here. We have Paula here. She's in the Southeast. We've got Perry Bender. He's in the central, what we call North Central area here. And then we have Kim, and Kim is in this area, so she's what we call the Southwest and Southern California as well. And we have Molly. She's in the South Central area. And then we have Bob, and he's up in the Northeast, Bob Pieri. In the back here, we have Gina, our inside sales manager. Some of you may have already interacted with her. She's a fantastic asset. And then we have our Chief Marketing Officer, John Hanratty, as well as part of the sales team. But I'm not going to. I'm going to go back here, and I was going to show you. You can go about us if you want, but the current itinerary. You were probably worried that I was going to lose everything, but I didn't, because I have a current itinerary, and that's what the current itinerary is for. It is basically when you have an itinerary that you've been building and you have to go look for other things, it will stay in the system. The time that it won't is when you click on the Avanti logo or click on Home, because that basically is saying I'm done with my itinerary. So I'm not going to click on those things quite yet. I'm going to check out. The first thing I need to do is to check out is click insurance. So if I click accept, it will go back to the top, and this is the cost of the insurance. When you deposit, when you take a quote from quote to booking, that's $150 per person. You have 7 days in order to pay the insurance, and with that, your clients get canceled for any reason. And the other thing that happens is that after final payment, if your clients paid for everything, which is 60 days from date of travel, then you have commission protection up to 75%. So if they were to cancel, 20 days before they left, besides some of the penalties that happen through TripMate, you'd be able to get your commission, or up to 75%. Just something to think about. So it's always good to get your clients to pay for everything as soon as possible, isn't it? So this is the commission that I would make. Your commission may be a little bit different. I don't get any commission. But I have an Avanti account, so it's always keeping your commission here. But if I just click checkout. You put any special notes here. Maybe you want wine or a fruit basket in your client's room when they arrive in Paris, or a variety of things. And then we have shipping and handling. And then I did want to quickly show you. I've got insurance, so I need to ensure that I include the state. And then you can add up to 15% of the gross as travel agent fee, and so we will process that fee for you. Some travel advisors, travel agents will say, you can't talk to me. I'm not going to work on anything unless you give me $250. That's between you and your client. But in this case, we can actually add an additional fee. We do keep 5% for processing, but still, it's pretty good. So I'm just going to go and then you can see that the fee is added. You just quickly, I'm going to quickly add my information here. You do have to provide birthdays because we've got rail. See, I always use the same names, right? And this is a test booking, so and I typically will just go through these and how old do I want to be today? I'm going to be young. In passport information or anything like that, typically we'll need that if, of course, if there's air involved. But you can pay a deposit or you can hold. You can also describe what you're paying for. So if you wanted to pay for the air, if you had air in here right off the bat, not something I would recommend. I would wait until it turns into a quote. But you can do all of these things. I can click deposit, but you do have to change the amount. So we have 2 passengers, so it would be $300. But I'm going to put it on hold. Let me click this mix just to make sure. Okay, so here we go. So I just created an FIT, and it did give me a little longer than 15 minutes, but not much. I did have to explain a lot of things. So we've got a complete FIT, and if my clients sign off on this, then I just made $1,174. Not bad at all. So with that, I'm going to go back and show you a pretty cool trick. I still have not cleared out my, oh, I wanted to show you this. I need to show this. So hold on, before I step forward, I apologize. This is the confirmation that you get when, and that's why I had my email up. This is a confirmation that you get when you create a quote. This is a reservation number. I can review this quote if I want to. This is the basics of it. Now, when you get this, I certainly could go in here and say review quote. And it's going to ask me for my login. And you should already be familiar with the screens because we just saw it. But you certainly could email your clients the invoice. And I'm going to stress this. I really recommend you holding off until you've given us a chance to review the itinerary, so that, you know, if there's any challenges that we're seeing, whether it be a inconsistency in the category of properties, you know, ending your client's stay on a 3-star, you know, I always say end your client's last night on the high note. You know, give them a property that is better than any of their other properties that they had, because that's the one that they're going to remember when they come back and you check in with them. Say, hey, how was your vacation? So if you put them in a 3-star right by the airport, then they've been traveling in 4-star properties. Even though they said they would do it and you warned them, they will still come back and say, I can't believe you did that to me. So just something to think about. But be that as it may, what we've got here is a good, nice, complete itinerary. So hold off 24 hours and let us review the itinerary before you send it to your clients, if you can. If you can't, I would recommend doing something else. I would recommend going in. I just clicked on current itinerary. It's still alive. I would recommend going in and doing a saved itinerary. Now, typically, and I go through this process, I will save an itinerary before I ever do go through the booking process, just so I have something that I can refer back to. These stay live on our website, only in your account for 30 days, and it's, you know, it is a cool way to also build out these complex itineraries and even send it to your clients before, when you're just trying to say, hey, so what do you think about this, or what do you think about this? Giving them a couple of different opportunities, different things to look at. Jeff's test. The thing you don't want to do is to apostrophes or special characters, because then we think that you're an attacker and we won't let you save it. Anyway, I just saved this itinerary and it's saved. So I don't I don't have to really worry about much now. If I retrieve this itinerary, you can see I can see everybody's itineraries, by the way, so don't get overwhelmed. I'm not saving itineraries all day, every day. So I just press select, and you should already be familiar with this screen because this is what we saw after we went in the vacation packages and chose London and Paris. And this is what a saved itinerary looks like. This is if you were to email it to your clients, it would send them right here, and they'd be able to look at this. And the thing to think about, though, is if you are sending this to your clients, it's not going to show your commission. But it also, if you wanted to add a fee, that won't be included. So there are other ways to think about this. Sometimes it's just good to save a couple of itineraries, and I would maybe copy and paste them and kind of work with them and send it off to my client and say, hey, this is the total price. They may come back to you and say, well, I want individual pricing for these individual items, but sometimes they don't. And then you've got a good quote. They'll say, yeah, I'm ready to pull the trigger, and then you're off and running. So just a couple of different ways to think about using saved itineraries. Now for the big one here. So if I click on Avanti logo or home, then I get this pop-up, and it says, are you sure you want to start over and lose all selected services? So that basically means that I'm going to clear out my itinerary when I go home. And I just did. So I click on current itinerary, and as you can see, nothing happened. So that's why I saved it before, because I do want to get into sources really quick while we have a few minutes. I'm not seeing any questions, though, so maybe I'll just keep on expounding on all the wonderful things.
Actually, I do have some questions if you'd like
you
to
have some
read
questions?
them. I'm the keeper of the question area.
Well, then let's cover some questions before I get into other details that people may or may not want to see.
Absolutely. One agent asked that and it was referencing to when you were showing some of the train schedules, she would like to know if within the packages, are you able to choose train times?
Yeah, to a degree. Like I was, I'm just going to quickly go into this. Let me choose I think Dublin. Dublin's probably not the best choice because there's not a lot of trains in Ireland. Oopsie.
Oh, good one, Jeffrey. Good. Yes.
You can only go to Galway and Cork. Anyway, I've got to add another city here. I'm going to go to Salzburg. So Munich, Salzburg, Vienna is probably the most popular combination ever. So if I go into rail to next city, you'll see this really quick. I'm arriving on the 13th. And so you have a variety of rail times that are going to show up. It is not what's available in the call center. So if you were to give us a call, we would have a lot more options. And different levels of service. Basically what we do is we choose the least expensive rate that we know we'll be able to uphold when we actually ticket, as well as the highest level. So you can see this is a pretty good deal, but these are the two different times that we're able to get your clients in. So this departs at 9:33 and arrives at 11:02 into Salzburg. This departs Munich at 11:33 and gets your clients in at 1 o'clock. And that's why I would always choose the one that's going to get them in the early afternoon. They get on the train station, they get to their hotel, they can check in. But certainly if your clients wanted to leave at 6 o'clock in the morning or 8 o'clock in the morning, and that was provided in the schedule, and arrive in the next city early on, they could go to the hotel, drop off their bags, and go out and see the town. But those are the two options that I'm able to provide here on the website for this connection on this day.
Gotcha. Next question. Are you able to plan accessible trips? That's a good one.
What does that mean by accessible? Like
I'm going to assume that this person has clients who have special needs, and are the hotels listed clear enough that you'll know this is an accessible hotel versus not,
Mm. On the website, I would. We don't really do that. We don't cover
Okay.
that. We certainly have some challenges.
She specifically said wheelchair. She just popped up while I was saying that.
Yeah. So for your physically challenged clients, we actually have a. Let me go. Oh, I don't want to go home. I'll go home. All right, here we go. We're going to clear out the itinerary. All right. So we have important forms and contact information. And in the important forms is booking procedures for the physically challenged. And that was on the, I'll just go back to this again. And that was in this agent resources here. So it's important forms and contact information. And you go in here, and this is really, if you have your clients that are physically challenged, I would recommend you can get a quote together, but then sending this in so that we can really make sure that we're providing the services and the properties that are best suited for your clients depending on their physical challenge. We will, if your client is completely bound in a wheelchair and it's an electric wheelchair that weighs hundreds and hundreds of pounds, we're not the tour operator for that. We're really more geared for if someone can assist your clients and the wheelchair is collapsible or something like that. I think that it definitely becomes more of a challenge, and there are tour operators out there that are really good at taking care of clients who are completely bound in a wheelchair or something like that. But if your clients are slow to move around, we can certainly work with them and you in making sure that the property is accessible to them and making sure that the transfers that they need, making arrangements with regard to air is something that you want to do on your client's behalf. With us and the airline. So these are all things that we can take into consideration, but we really need to have an honest answer from you about what your client's challenges may be so that we can address them in the itinerary. And it's really not something that you want to do on a website.
Great. Well, that was really helpful. Thank you for Sharon for asking that question, because that's an area that I don't think we would normally have popped into with Jeffrey going
a lot
here.
Of people, a lot of people have those questions, and it's I think that if you have a client who's physically challenged, it definitely is a difficult arrangements. All those arrangements that you have to make can be a challenge. So we just really need you to the travel agent to be completely honest with us with regard to the challenges that your clients face, and we will do our best to make sure that we've got an itinerary with the properties and stuff that work out.
Exactly, and you know what? We all want our clients to have the best experience. So
exactly.
Let's see. Next question. You had mentioned that really you recommend letting Avanti review it. Good point. Good point. Is there a time frame which you can hold the itinerary and before it?
Oh yeah. Yeah, it's up to basically we're looking at 14 days. So you don't have to. I mean, we're not going to go out and make confirmations. We're not pulling allocation. Some of the other tour operators will pull allocation for 24, 48 hours while you're on hold. We don't do that. So we don't start the confirmation process until we get a deposit of $150 per person. But it can stay with us for 14 days. You'll get a reminder after 14 days, and maybe even before that, I think 7 days. It's what we call a commission reminder, but typically it will auto-cancel after 21 days.
Great. Let's see. If we add a travel agent fee, does it show up as a separate charge to the clients, or does it say travel agent fee and it's folded into the total?
It is folded into the total. So here you go. I'll show you really quick. So we have the agent invoice, and quickly I'll cover this because Let me close down my email now that I've shown you all this stuff. So I can, where is it? Is it popping up here? Oops. I'm not getting the pop-up. Oh, I know, that's why. I'm clicking on the wrong button. Here we go. We can itemize the invoice. Your client may want to see an itemization, but this is for you and your eyes only, because you can see down here this is the agent invoice, and it does have your commission and all that stuff. We lump it together in the commission and fees, but this is an itemization that I would not share with my client. If they wanted to see the total or the gross of each individual charge, you could break it down this way. But that's the travel agent version of the invoice. The passenger invoice, I'm just going to make up a thing here so it'll let me do it. The passenger invoice, well, I'm just going to scroll down to the bottom, only has the subtotal and the balance due and everything. As you can see here, I apologize, you can see here there's no commission or fee even shown. And that's not going to be shown to your clients unless you send them the agent invoice.
I have two more good. These guys are good. I'm telling you. I'm looking at the questions in the back going, hey, gang, you're paying attention. I like it.
Good.
Let's see. One agent asked, can you change the dates of the itinerary, or do you have to start over again? That was the ad-lib part. Sorry.
No, it's good. It's a very good question. Let's just say I'm going to go back home here. Let's just say, for instance, I was clever enough and I saved an itinerary. Let's see if it shows up here. There's Jeff's test. All right, so I have this itinerary that I saved. I'm going to quickly click on this. It's going to take a while. I could change the date right here, the arrival date on the saved itinerary, but I'm going to show you something even cooler. So maybe we can answer another question while this is trying to rebuild everything. It doesn't require me to go on the website.
Gotcha. Actually, the last question that I have at the moment is, if they paid the $150 per person deposit, then the hotel is not available, do they get a refund?
Yeah. If you wanted to cancel it, typically what happens is, if the hotel was on request, which, it does happen once in a while, or, they paid a deposit and we went out and tried to confirm the hotel and we couldn't confirm it, that's all, you get the money back, because we're not able to provide the services that we originally said that we would provide. So that wouldn't happen. What typically will also happen when we do get what we call a UA or an unavailable is we will offer you an equivalent option. So that, say for instance your clients wanted to stay at Litra on the left bank, we would go out and look for a 4-star property that is similar to what the Litra is in an area that is as nearby as possible, and say, we weren't able to get this hotel, but here's another hotel that we can offer you, and that's typically the process that will go. But certainly, if your clients say, I don't want any of that, then it's refunded.
That was the last question. It looks like it refreshed for you.
It did. So I'm so smart. So
right
at
on
any
cue.
point,
I love it.
Yeah. So at any point, it does take a while. This is pretty, especially when you get like 5 or 6 cities, you can sit there for a few minutes. But anyway, so just say for instance, my clients didn't want to leave on the 23rd, and they wanted to leave on the 21st. Then I can just change it. And what this is going to do is the same thing it just did, is that it's going to go through and rearrange everything dependent on that date change. So it's going to go through every hotel, every rail, and the whole 9 yards, and basically reassemble the entire itinerary based on the new arrival date. So I'm hoping this comes up pretty fast, because I've got a few more minutes and I do want to cover pre and post cruise since we've got some time. But it's going to be a while, I think. Maybe I'll just do this. I'm going to go in and I'm in the vacations area of the website, and I'm going to go click on pre and post cruise vacations. So these are all the pre and post cruise options, whether it be river cruise or the larger boats in the Med or in Central South America. We have Santiago, Rio, and then Asia, Hong Kong, Beijing, and Bangkok, and so forth and so on, Singapore. But I have Venice for cruisers. Venice is typically an endpoint. For a lot of folks, it sometimes can be a beginning point as well. So let's just say, for instance, that it is a beginning point, and so it's a pre-cruise. And I know that I'm going to do the post-cruise as well, but I can just go create a quote. I'm just picking a date. It's probably not a good idea to pick June 3rd in Venice. That's only a couple weeks away. So as you can see, this is that current itinerary where I changed the date, and I do have transportation challenges or the cooking class because it's only offered on certain days. So I would actually have to delete this. So hopefully we can go back and forth between these two ideas. Oopsie, I made a mistake here. Oh, I lost it. Darn it. Oh, I know what's going on. I'm sorry, I shouldn't have done that. But you saw that I could change the dates, so there we go. I'm trying to do two in the same window. I'm trying to do two different itineraries, so it's going to get confused. So that's my bad. So anyway, we've got this pre and post cruise here, or I'm going to do a pre and post cruise. So we're going into Venice, and we're going to give them a big cruise. I'm not sure how. I'm not a cruiser, so I don't know. But they're on a cruise, so we need to cover those dates. If I'm wrong, don't hold it against me. I don't know much about cruising, so I'm going to add this their cruise into this itinerary, and then I'm going to do a post cruise. I'm just going to accept this for right now. And that's because anytime transportation changes or dates change or you add something to itinerary, all your transportation typically needs to be updated, and you want to check to make sure that it works. So if you've got airport to the hotel and then hotel to the cruise port, we're good to go there. I've got 7 days where my clients are on a cruise, and I just know some of these things. So I'm going to get them into, maybe it ends in Barcelona. Another very popular beginning and ending point for cruises. I'm just going to spend 2 nights. You certainly can just do 1 night in and out. No problems there. But this is how you do a pre and post cruise. Booking in your clients' vacations. Give them some time to see the major ports that they're beginning and ending in, and there's a lot of great options here. I just can add all the properties and everything else. You can add a note, and the great thing to think about this with regard to passengers on own, if you will, is you can denote whether they're on a cruise or maybe they just want to go see some friends for a couple of days, or they've got a family member who's going to school in Copenhagen or something. These are all things that you can incorporate in because it is a chronological itinerary. Having these points where they're doing things on their own is easy enough to plug in, whether it be for a cruise that we're not able to provide for you, or it be, they're going to go see family and friends. And then you can even enter in the cruise information, and I don't know much about it, so I'm not going to get too highfalutin, but there you go. So this note will go in with the booking, so we'll have a better idea of when they actually need to be transferred from the Venice hotel to the port. And so all of these things can be incorporated into your pre and post cruise options. And plus you can do really cool things like this semi-private walking tour. In Venice is predominantly the Doge's Palace, which is absolutely amazing. But it begins essentially at St. Mark's. They're going to go see some of the of the highlights of Venice, but predominantly most of the time is going to be spent, at the end, being able to go into the Doge's Palace, which is, as I said before, pretty cool. Anyway, there you go. That's the semi-private tours only Avanti clients. So it would be your clients and other travel clients, up to 12 folks in this particular instance, that will be having a little walking tour of Venice. And we offer these in most of the major cities in Italy, as well as throughout Europe whenever possible. So it's a small group experience, if you will, rather than larger groups. So that's all I got. Looks like we're at the top of the hour. Maureen? Hello? Hello? Is anybody there? Can everybody hear me?
Yep,
okay,
we're there.
Well, oh, okay. You were on mute or something.
I know. I put myself on mute like I had everybody else. How rude, right? Right?
All
well,
right.
Thank you again. This has been absolutely wonderful. I know that for those of you on the call, we will be emailing out a link to this webinar if you missed the first few minutes of it or you want to be able to review it again. And I believe, Jeffrey, you're also going to provide us with contact information or website. Yep. Okay, yep. Perfect.
Yep. I'll get it to you before I leave today.
That sounds good. Thank you, everybody. I hope you have a good rest of your week. And Jeffrey, again, as always, it's wonderful to work with you. Thank you.
Wonderful, wonderful. Thank you all. Take care.
Bye-bye.
Bye-bye.